Hello everyone, happy holidays and Merry Christmas. Welcome to my channel, Cooking for the Family. Today I'm going to share with you for my 12 days of cookies and holiday treats, how to make cranberry scones. We're also going to make a nice vanilla glaze to go on top of them. Now for my cranberry scones, we're going to be using unbleached all-purpose flour, and we're going to be using 3 cups total. Now it's important that with your flour, you don't want to pack your flour or your flour end up being packed down into your measuring cup. So you want to aerate your flour just like I was doing in my flour canister. So just aerate it a little bit, just like that. And another way you can also do it is by taking a spoon and just scooping your flour right into your measuring cup. Now scones have a little bit of sweetness to them, so we're going to also add in some sugar. This is regular granulated sugar, and that was 1/3 of a cup of sugar. We're also going to put in some baking powder. So we're going to be using 2 types of leveling ingredients, baking powder and baking soda. So for our baking powder, we're putting 2 teaspoons plus another 1/2 teaspoon. For our baking soda, I'm sprinkling in a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. We're also going to put in some salt, and this is going to be 1 teaspoon of just regular table salt. Now, if you are new to my channel, welcome in, and if you're a returner, welcome back. My name is Devon, and on my channel, I love to share what I cook and bake for my family in my kitchen. This time of year, I do my favorite things, and one of my favorite things is to do 12 days of cookies and holiday treats, and it's something that I love to share. 12 days leading up to Christmas Eve, where I share a holiday treat, a cookie, just different things that are just very festive for this time of year. So if you haven't seen those vlogs, I'll definitely put a link in the description so that way you can check them out. So for our butter, I'm using nice ice cold butter, and my butter, we're using 1½ sticks, which is the equivalent of 3/4 of a cup. Okay, and so I'm also using unsalted butter as well, because this recipe we put a teaspoon of salt, so you do want to use some unsalted butter. And then what I do is I take my bench scraper and I'm just going to break this down into different pieces, about say nickel size pieces, maybe just a little bit bigger than that. But you want to break this down, because what we're going to do is it's similar to how I would make my biscuits anytime that I'm making my scones. And what I mean by that is that you want to break down those hard pieces of butter into the flour. So we're really gonna try to hydrate the flour as best as we can with those very firm cold pieces of butter. This is going to allow our scones to be nice and flaky, and we're also going to build some layers into our scones, and I'm going to share with you how I do that. Now I've been pressing the butter between my thumb and my forefinger just to really break it down. And you see how now we have these nice crumbly pieces? That's what you're going to be looking for. Next I put in some buttermilk, and we want to have nice ice cold buttermilk, because again, having that nice ice cold butter and the nice ice cold buttermilk really is going to give our scones the nice texture that we're looking for. Now once you put in your buttermilk, I like to go from the bottom to the top and gently pressing my dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. Now once I've mixed it and I've gone as far as I can with the spatula, I want to switch over to using my hand, because we want to gather our dough and create a nice dough ball in the center of our bowl. And in order to do that, you're going to be needing to use your hands. And so just really start to gather and press. You see how I'm pressing and I'm gathering, and I'm really bringing our dough ball together. And something else is that you want to work around the sides and the edge of your bowl, because what you want to see happen is all of the dough, the flour, start to gather and start to come together just like it's doing there. Now once we get to this point, I'm just going to gently knead with my fingertips and not be too rough. You want to be gentle, and also your dough at this point should also be very cold. It's cold from the buttermilk and also very cold from the butter. You also should have just a little bit of speckles here and there of the cold butter that we had. I'm going to use a little bit of flour, and then this is just because our dough should be slightly sticky or slightly tacky at this point as well. And you see how we build in those layers. I fold over, and I'm just pressing down with my hand, and I fold over again, like making an envelope each time, making a fold each time. And that's what you want to do, because that motion, that action is building in those nice layers that are going to have nice flaky scones for ourselves. So once we get to this point, Then we're going to go ahead and shape it out a bit to about the size of a piece of paper. Okay, now here I have my cranberries. I'm using dried cranberries, and so I just wanted to rehydrate them a little bit. I filled my measuring cup up with water just a little bit above the cranberries. I put in the microwave and I microwaved it for 30 seconds and then for another 20 seconds just until the water became not scalding hot but just very, very warm. Okay, and so that's what I did, and then I let the cranberries just sit in that nice warm, super warm water until they just plumped up some, and that took maybe about 20 minutes. I went on and drained the cranberries, and then I put a paper towel down to make sure that I get all that excess water off of the cranberries, because we don't want to introduce that excess water into our scones. Now you can also use fresh cranberries as well, and you would want to use 1 cup plus 1/3 of fresh cranberries. Okay, I go ahead and put down half the cranberries, and then I fold my dough over. I'm going to pull the dough out a little bit and fold it over again, kind of like a burrito right now. And so I folded it out, and it's going to be kind of thick, but we're going to press it down. We don't want to use a roller. You can use a roller, but if you're using a roller, just be very gentle because we don't want to flatten our dough too much. And then I use the other balance, the rest of the cranberries. I go ahead, I'm going to gently press them down into my dough. So you want to press them down with your fingers into your dough, not really using the rolling pin. The rolling pin just gets a little bit too flat, and then sometimes we can end up putting more pressure on our dough than really what we want to. And so after I put the balance of the cranberries, I roll it over again a third time going the opposite direction. Okay, then I rotate, and you see those layers right there? I go ahead and rotate now. Now as we press down, the cranberries are going to want to try to jump ship, but that's okay. What you want to do is, if you have a little crack that forms, I just use a little bit of flour just to kind of seal that up. And then I gently use my hand. I work it back and forth like that, gently pressing down. We're going to press our dough down till it's about a 1/2 inch thickness, about 1/2 inch, fourth of an inch thickness is what you want to press it down. And you just keep working it down until you get a nice size sheet of paper, a little bit bigger than a sheet of paper. I use my dough cutter here, and this has like the little ridges on it. I like using that for the scones especially. There you go. So I went on and I cut these out. You're going to end up getting about a dozen, around about a dozen of the scones. Now, when you pick up your scones, if any cranberries fall out, I just go on and tuck those into the side. Also, when you're cutting out your scones, you just want to press straight down with firm pressure and then just lift up. You don't want to twist them because twisting, that motion actually seals the sides of your dough and your scones won't rise as high. I've gone on and I've put mine on some parchment paper. You want to cook them on parchment paper. You can also use a cookie stone if you have one of those. For our vanilla glaze, I put in 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. I melted those and let the 2 tablespoons of butter cool. Then I'm using my powdered sugar, and that's 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. Then to that, I'm going to add in a little bit of salt, just about this much. We just want a pinch of salt. And we're also going to put in some vanilla extract, and I'm going to put in 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now in the description box below, I will have a list of all the ingredients you need to make these wonderful cranberry scones. Next, I'm putting in some half and half, and with the half and half, you want to use about 3 to 4 tablespoons of half and half. The half and half is going to give our glaze a nice, wonderful richness to it. So it becomes a nice buttery vanilla glaze that pairs very well with our scones. And so mix everything together until your glaze becomes nice and smooth, and you can get the consistency that you want. I like it about here. If you want it a little bit thinner, you can go ahead and add in a little bit more half and half. Our scones are out of the oven. They have baked at 400 degrees, and you want to cook them, you want to bake them for 15 to 18 minutes. What I like to do is I like to check them at around about 13 minutes, 14 minutes, just to kind of see how they're doing. You especially want to make sure, because you don't want to over bake your scones. So there should be a nice, beautiful, a soft golden brown on the bottom. They're going to also have a nice little golden brown around the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and open up one, and I'm going to give you the first bite. It is looking really good. Do you see those nice layers in there? Are you ready for your bite? Go ahead and take your bite. Now I'm going to take my bite and see how we did today. These are going to go perfect for our Christmas brunch. Well, I hope you check out my other 12 days of Christmas and holiday treat vlogs. If you like this video, show it some love, give it a thumbs up, and click share. And share this video with a friend or family. And don't forget to click that subscribe button, become one of my awesome subscribers. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.